Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-match reaction on New York Talk. We've finally got out of rain, but we haven't got out of the disappointment of that game, have we, lads?
No.
For once, the silly boy called Daniel isn't me. It's Daniel Ayala. So we'll start with you, Matt. That first kicking of the ball away, do you think it's a yellow card? Do you think it's a bit harsh after only about 4 minutes or so?
You're very clever coming to me before Mick. I'll say.
Yeah, this is tactical. Matt's got the microphone.
Yeah. Look, by the letter of the law, he can say that he made the right decision. By technically the letter of the law. When we try and ask people, ask referees to put some common sense towards the law, that's when I think he's got it wrong. I think 7 or 8 minutes in, whatever the minute was, I don't think you have to give a yellow card. You can just say, mate, no, have a word with him. You can stop the game. Right, if you do that again, that's it. That's not acceptable. We can't have that. I don't think it's necessary to book him at that point in the game. How many times have we seen this season where people have done similar things and not been booked? I thought the referee in general was just atrocious. And I know the big decisions went against us, but I thought just everything, he got a lot of stuff wrong. I always feel like if you only book a player if you have to. If you can get away with not booking somebody, please don't book them, because we don't want that. We saw that with Fred earlier in the season. We don't want these silly niggly yellow cards which seem to have come in this season. So in summary, technically he'll get a thumbs up by PJ Well. I'm sure he will. Technically, he'll get a thumbs up. But if that's the way that football's going, I don't think that's a great thing, to be honest with you. That's in summary.
Right, batten down the hatches.
Good luck.
Mick, what's your view on the first yellow card?
I guess by the letter of the law, like Max says, it's a yellow card, isn't it? Unfortunately, all the tens of times that's happened in games between Blackburn and today where it's not punished, it's also a yellow card, but they're not given. So we seem to be changing the rules game by game, or different referees applying the same rule differently, not only game by game, but minute by minute within the game. So you either do it or you don't do it. You can't do it for 3 weeks and not do it for the next 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden start doing it again. But that sort of inconsistency has just summed up that performance by the referee today. It was, in my view, and I'm sure some other people will argue differently, the worst refereeing performance of the season, with the exception of the Blackburn game.
About 10 minutes from Bobby.
With the exception of that, it was just awful, and I mean utterly awful. You know, he's inconsistent, giving the wrong decisions at the wrong time. You mentioned the fact that Fred got booked for holding the yellow card up in the Blackburn game. Yeah. The 5 or 6 Swansea players that surrounded the referee for Ayala sending off didn't get booked, asking for a yellow card. Where's the consistency? There is none, and it's not acceptable. But you know, that first yellow card cost us the game, because we would have won that game. I am absolutely convinced we would have won that game had that yellow card not been given.
Blackburn all over again.
Absolutely. Yeah. That yellow card that's not been given for the previous 10 or 11 games, it's just not acceptable. But you know you're absolutely wasting your time discussing it, talking about it. It's a pointless exercise, because all that will get thrown back at you is, well, he's applied the law as it should be applied. Well, why didn't you apply it last week, or the week before, or the week before, or the week before?
Yeah.
Waste of time.
It was like a pointless exercise, appealing for anything with the linesman as well,
Right.
because that was a shocking performance. I mean, did he forget his microphone or something at the start of the game, or was it his bride that he left in the change room?
This feels ridiculous to say, and it feels petty, and it feels ridiculous. So it probably is. But they've had 2 hours on the run up to kick off to make sure everything's working, and we find out as the referee's about to blow his whistle that it's not working. All right, it might have gone down at that point, but let's not get bogged down in that. That's not really relevant in terms of the context of the game, is it?
Well, it sort of set the tone, I thought. I thought the delay at kick-off for the referee was like, right, here we go. And Ayala gets booked first time, it's like, right, sound, and then he gets booked. I mean, to be fair, the challenge that he committed was a yellow card challenge. However, it was also the first challenge that anyone had committed that you could say was, it's like, that was like, yellow card. So that touches on what you've said, Matt, where it's like, now come on. Yeah. You know, I think common sense, I mean, you never apply common sense to football because you end up looking like an idiot, but common sense dictates that you have one challenge where it's like, nah, come on, and then the next one, then it's a booking, like, I've told you, so I've cautioned you now.
Yeah.
But into the second half, we'll stay in the first half for Swansea's goal. That was, again, for me, sat behind the goal, I thought it was a blatant red card. Like people said,
handball.
Handball. I'm getting confused.
Send him off.
Yeah, exactly. It's handballed. Anyway, but yeah, people in the North Stand, let me know. Did you think it was handball, or do you think it came off Rathbone and then went in? Because to me, it looks like Henri's goal against Ireland from back in the day, where he's just scooped it into the goal. And I think their players and more or less the entire stadium thought that can't count. And we didn't hear anything, and then suddenly, Swansea's celebrating, it's counted. It was silly. And Victor had pulled off some stunning saves before that as well and kept us in the game. And then it was just like a punch to the gut. It was just like, of course they have. You know.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is I didn't see it live. I was in the toilet. I was just here. I heard a cheer, and desperately hoped it was us cheering, and it wasn't. Having watched it back on not a very good replay, I've only seen one replay. I think it comes off Rathbone's hand onto the Swansea player's hand in. So if we're going to go down that route, it actually should have been a penalty. I think, based on what I've seen so far.
I thought it came off Rathbone's shoulder, personally.
We'd have to watch it back. This is why we're doing some reactions. We're at points we don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. My instant reaction is that Rathbone's handballed it onto the guy's hand, but we will watch it back and talk about it in a bit more detail in the podcast. But it just summed up the frustration. That it was sloppy, it was silly, it was scruffy, it was everything you wanted to be. And we could say something about second goal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Rotherham's goal. Yes. Well, to be fair. That was
I still don't know what happened with that one.
Neither do I, to be fair. It's just sort of just about trickled over at line, and everyone from my end thought that's gone in surely. But again, there were a weird delay to that as well. Almost like they didn't want to give it, and it's like, oh no, my watchers will give it. Yeah. And then comes the moment, mate, that's a proper letdown. Jerry Yates scores against us to win Swansea the game in a performance that, like you've said, if it were 11v11, we would have won, I thought. But for large stretches, we held Swansea at bay with 10 men, which I think says more about Swansea than it does about us. And then they've just gone at the other end and scored through a mistake through Peltier, I think it was. And I think that just adds to the frustration of the afternoon, doesn't it?
Up to a point, yeah, it does. I mean, I don't think we were that bad. I think they were, and I don't think they deserved to win the game. And I think the only reason they did win the game is because we played with 10 men for 70 minutes, 80 minutes, whatever it was, 70 minutes. So, it was a mistake. Mistakes happen. Old boy comes back, scores against us. Always going to happen, I guess. When he came on, but it was a mistake from Peltz, and you can't give him stick for it. They've been under the cosh for 70 minutes up to that point, 60 minutes up to that point. Which they shouldn't have been, and that's the frustrating part about it. And as things stand at the moment, as you said, Matt, earlier on, we shouldn't really do these instant reactions because I'm livid. I'm absolutely furious that we've been put in that position. I'd absolutely need a beer. Yeah.
Nearly go get him a beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so annoyed that we were put in that position through. As far as I'm concerned, no fault of our own. We played to the rules that we played to for the last 12 games, and all of a sudden the goalposts have been moved. I hate it. It really, really frustrates me.
I like how Ben give us the wind up 2 minutes.
Yeah, he did. Interestingly, what I would say is no Tony Stewart in the crowd, as far as I could see today.
Interesting.
So whether he's got the face on because Big Steve can't make it, who knows? But we'll see on that one.
Did anyone find out if Liam Richardson was Father Christmas, by the way?
There's been no pictures of him. So I don't know. I haven't seen any pictures of Liam Richardson. Here we go. This is going to cheer Mick up someday.
Thank you very much, dear. You're very kind.
Just get the cracking.
Beer o'clock. Very nice.
Oh, there we go. And I think we'll end it there. Yes. So thank you very much for watching. If you're a Swansea fan, I hope we've wound you up royally because of your 2-1 win.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment, like the video or dislike it, whichever you like. And we'll see you next time. See ya.